Hi, Richard from the Pink Society. I'm going to talk briefly about tempo. In 17th century Italian rapier, they used Aristotle's idea of time, and so they didn't have like stopwatches. So what they do is they kind of sort of break time down into movement or lack of movement. So think of a tempo as an action. Here I am in guard. If I want to cut, it's going to be to tempo. 1, 2. If I'm going to thrust, it's going to be 1. 1. The idea is single actions being 2 actions as long as you cover yourself as you go in. Tempos were also opportunities to attack, because if you do nothing in a tempo and face off against an opponent and I just stand there, then he's going to be able to make an attack while I do nothing. Also, if I do a non-offensive tempo, this could be a movement of a sword or with a foot, an opponent can attack me. Some examples. Here I am in guard, and I decide to cavazione or disengage, which is when I take my sword, go under my opponent's sword to try to gain their blade. In the movement of my cavazione, my disengage, he can decide to attack me because I'm making a non-offensive move. So you got to do this quick. You can't slowly do it. You got to go pretty fast and lunge, or you're going to get hit against a clever opponent. If I do unnecessary footwork, which I see a lot, and what that would be is I'm faced off with an opponent, I'm within range, he can stab me, and I decide to circle, right? I decide to put my foot here. He can attack me while my foot's moving, and it's very difficult for me to defend, so it's hard for me to do 2 things at once, right? If I try to advance on him and I don't attack, he can attack me in the moment of my advance. I try to pass for whatever reason, and I'm not being offensive about it, I'm simply just passing to get close. As my foot lifts, that's a long tempo. He can attack me. Tempos also can be long and short. That little cut is 2 tempo technically, 1, 2. But what's going to happen if I come back all the way up? It's a 2 tempo action, 1, 2, but they're longer. So there's some wiggle room in like the definition of a tempo. But from Italian theorists, what you're going to do is you want to stay in what we call single time. You want to try to use 1 tempo actions to counter anybody else's action. Oh, one thing about tempo, feints. Some of the masters like feints, some don't. All of them seem to caution about it. The reason why is a feint technically is a non-offensive move, right? I'm not really attacking a guy. I'm threatening his face and then I decide to do something else. Well, as I do that, as I decide to do something else, I can be attacked. I've taken 1 tempo not to kill a guy. I'm taking another tempo to do something else. This is why some of the masters recommended, if you do a feint, make sure you can turn it from, well, I'm not really attacking you, to, uh-oh, I am. That's kind of our take on tempos.